Alright, folks, time has come for the Special Conditions Cup. In the midst of my small desk fan that sounds like a cricket chirping in the background, a 5-race championship, the penultimate championship of the season. And it exclusively involves the newly introduced dirt class of the cars. Cars balanced around 590 performance points, sitting on dirt tires, and most of them, if not all, actually pretty much all of them, with reinforced chassis that you'd practically need an RPG to break. I kid you not. These things are... They're like diamond. They're unbreakable, I swear to God. Unbreaking 3 rally cars. You could pretty much toss these off the Grand Canyon, and it'd probably drive away. I don't know how we did it, but Nidary and like some of the rally guys like Saeed, or I guess he's not rally, he's Decker, but off-road based, he knows his way around how to build a vehicle that can take some punishment. Nitari and him kind of collaborated. I think there was some effort made by the likes of Thrasher too. I don't know the first thing about chassis reinforcement. I only know how to make things turn well and go fast. But without further ado, let's go into the first round. And the Special Conditions Cup is officially underway. The first round brings us to Fisherman's Ranch. Only 2 laps here, as this is by far the longest of any rally track that we have available to us. And although I put the camera at the front to start, we are on board with actually the Pulsator's sister, Sarah Uni, and her 22B Impreza, one of, I believe, 4 Subaru Imprezas on the grid for the Special Conditions Cup. It's pretty simple to work out the roster for this championship, as we only had about 16 people attempt, so we just had 16 people in the championship. As we see everybody file up the hill here, Uni easily outdrags Macintosh, one of the 3 rear-wheel drive competitors in the Special Conditions Cup. And the only one that I think started even in the top 8. Sarah now putting the pressure on and overtaking the Rallycross guy, Colin Morris. Of course, you know he wouldn't miss this. And there's quite a few drivers in this championship where you just kind of look at them and be like, yeah, you wouldn't miss this one, would you? So this like hairpin shot, everybody just trickling down. Uni is really getting some drift angle there from her Subaru. Kind of get an overhead to do everybody who's competing here. That's not quite where the car is supposed to be. That's the rut over there. The car can last over there, but you don't want to live in that part of the track. It's the run on Watanabe and into P2. Be mindful of this jump. It can end races pretty easy. Uni was mindful, took it a bit conservatively, but that's better than being out of the race. As hard as it is to take these things out of a race, as I mentioned earlier, they're all reinforced pretty heavily. That's my timing right there. My effervescent sense of recording timing is impeccable. We have the 2 sisters dueling for the race lead here early on. Noir just about sneaks down the inside, and she'll be clear, crucially before we ever have to hit this big jump, which Uni's car barely manages to negotiate right. Seems to be a little front heavy. Honestly, I can't say I'm surprised. Front wheel drive cars are too, but even 4-wheel drive cars are pretty heavy in the front. That's why they're so hard on their front tires, but with dirt treads, you don't usually have to worry about tire wear. There's not much friction anyway. And that's why there really aren't pit stops in dirt races. Uni's car gets an even worse bounce there. She has to actually rebound off the wall just to avoid spinning all the way out. she's making a bit of a mess of these slow corners at the moment. I think she's a little rocked, but her sister isn't really putting the pressure on her either. Something tells me Noir is probably more than happy to just kind of sit here and play rear gunner for her sister Uni up there. Nice to see at least some teamwork here from NFR. It's kind of rare we actually get dedicated teamwork anywhere, but I suppose when you got a pair of sisters on the team that actually like each other, unlike some other pairs of sisters we've had in the past, it kind of becomes a different story. Uni is just an absolute mess at the moment, but she still isn't under threat from Noir, and Noir really isn't under threat from Watanabe either, but she is definitely under threat from, like, the Ford Brigade here, and everything else. Honestly, Yo's pretty much running for her life, and she probably should be in about fight or flight mode pretty soon here, because she's either going to have to pass Noir, or probably be consumed alive by Colin Morris and the truck brigade back there, and I think she seems to know that as now she does get right up to the bumper of Noir, but she's not done much with it yet. Now she is going to try on the outside of Noir, but that's not likely to get her too far. You see Tyler trying to keep Dakota Kingsley at bay, but ultimately not succeeding. The truck able to get a better run out of these slow corners. The rear-wheel drive vehicles are going to struggle at this track in particular. Oh, actually, this track and the Rallycross course will be running later, as both have a lot of slower turns that the rear-wheel drive vehicles will struggle to exit with any amount of speed. It is a Congo line, pretty much, heading towards the last section of racetrack here. 3 wide behind Yo, as Colin Morris has just been embarrassed by the pickup trucks. Get that on a quick, snappy replay here if we can. He didn't get a bad run into the hairpin by any means, just that one truck snuck to his inside, and then suddenly the other one snuck to that one's inside, and Colin Morris was just left out to dry on the outside lane of the turn. And they're all just in a procession now. Alzamon's trying to sneak ahead of Kotexa, but he may not be able to as we head back to the jump once more. And Uni lets it fly. She's built up a pretty hefty lead now. Noir, maybe just even subconsciously, she probably never admits she's trying to, but she's created a huge gap for Uni to just kind of do her own thing up here. But she herself is also managing the threat of the cars behind pretty well. Has a bit of a moment, and also gets a bit of a punt from Kotexa that southern U.S. style oval and dirt racing coming into play there. Uni will answer the call of duty, and she will take the first victory in the Special Conditions Cup, make it a 1-2 for herself and her sister, and Kotexa will come up for 3rd place. I believe he started pretty well on the back of this race as well. Watanabe will take 4th place, pretty much finishing exactly where she started. Expected a little more from the Hokkaido guys, especially Tetsuya. That's not the best look for somebody who's won the Hokkaido Rally multiple times, but what, you can't even beat a Mustang? Come on, my guy. And the second race of the Cup is a go. Colorado Springs plays host to round 2. We are staying in the United States of America for the first 2 rounds before we head to Europe for the other 3. Pretty simple layout, if, I must be honest. Just 2 Europe, 2 America, 3 Europe. Because we've only got 4 locations, so we really don't have a choice. might as well make it easy on everybody and just allow them to just travel, you know, west to east. Riho Futaba is the POV driver here from Colorado Springs. Her engine-swapped Toyota Tundra really didn't get things done at the Kings Ranch. I believe she had a bad bump and lost a lot of time recovering from the ensuing loss of control. And that put her somewhere in the realm of 13, I think it was. The fact that the Special Conditions Cup has gone relatively smoothly is a bit of a surprise to me, as both myself and Mitri were not at any races. Thrasher was the lone admin nearby, but at the same time, this field is full of some of the more seasoned and matured veterans of the Challenge Series, and in most cases, of racing itself. The likes of Saeed, Harada, Rantanen, Kingsley, they've all been at this for a while. They all know what they're doing. They don't really need to be told what to do. But then there's also the ones that might be a little left behind the ears, like Riho, like Yo. But they're also the type of people that wouldn't really go out of their way to cause disruption or mischief because they just don't have that in them. What Riho is doing is moving up places very quickly, already up to 3rd place, and only about just over a lap through the race. Now looking at 2nd place on Sen Rantanen. This track is interesting in that it's really compact, which makes it sort of like a rallycross, rally stage hybrid. Just a little too long to be rallycross track, but it's certainly not of the length of Fisherman's Ranch. The Sardinia Windmills layout is actually kind of in the same... What is that? That's not something you would have happen in anything else, except for a truck. The trucks are interesting contrast in performances. That is a huge moment. And somehow she got away with it. Meanwhile, Rantanen is the one that smacks the wall on the outside of that turn. And now Riho is already stalking that Evo 10. Changing up lanes, trying to find some sort of advantage to use against her. Yo kind of goes a little defensive there, going into turn 1, but Riho does not care and takes the lead, and then forfeits it by missing turn 1 entirely. Actually, not quite. Yo didn't really capitalize like I thought she might be able to. So Riho remains the leader for now, but she's still kind of offline a little bit. Now she almost fixed it, and then she hit a bump. Yeah, as I was saying, a little wet behind the ears. Not quite a season to just constantly hit her mark, but she's got raw speed. And some days, that's all you need, is just to be the fastest vehicle on the track. Understeer is not what you need. The difference in driving styles at the moment is quite severe. Riho is just throwing it all out there. She's just going crazy at the wheel. Maybe a little too crazy, actually. Pretty much every single one of these trucks just tried to end her race, but somehow Riho did hang on. In fact, she also maintained the lead after basically having 3 separate half spins. Yo finally takes it away, heading out of the jump section. And Riho runs into the wall again. Her tire cadence is just off at the moment. Yep, there's another wall tap. But she's still in it. Still very much in with a chance. Dakota Kingsley started this race in 14th, I would like to point out. He's made his way to 5th. And he might be in 4th in a minute. Yep, he just caught Colin Morris asleep at the wheel there. Riho takes the lead back from Yo once again after finally getting her bearings. But Yo kind of put a bumper there, and Riho might have maybe a little bit overreacted. Dakota outdrags Rantanen out of the downhill right. He'll third. Yo will find herself sandwiched between pickup trucks. She doesn't care. She takes the lead anyway. As she gets to the desired lane through there. So I think in the back there we saw kind of Rio once more out of control over that bump. For being a truck, the suspension seems awfully just not cooperative right now. Actually, that wasn't really her fault. That was Dakota that got loose off that and just kind of gave her a bit of a gut check. But again, they are trucks. Kind of hard to move them. She kind of returns the favor a bit and forces Dakota to readjust his line, which he wasn't capable of doing too well. The drivers were definitely aware going into the Special Conditions Cup that there's going to be contact every once in a while. That's just kind of part of the game. When you're driving off-road, you don't have a lot of traction, ever. And sometimes the only way you can make up a pass is to pick a lane for yourself. Riho didn't have to do that, though. She gets back to the lead. She's taken it for the fourth separate time in this race, away from the Evo driver. And she proceeds to then just about make the next turn. Does she get it stopped for the downhill, right? Yes she does. Finally, it took you long enough. Dakota moves into P2. He and Riho are taking very different lines through this little slower section. Oh, Dakota is way offline at the final bit of that section there, but Yo's just didn't challenge. Probably didn't know what lane to put her car in, as Dakota took up pretty much the whole track. But Riho, after several failed corners, still manages to hit it where it counts and takes the win at Colorado Springs. Dakota P2, third, goes to Yo. And both her stuff and Rantanen continue their form of consistent finishes. As I believe Rantanen was 6th, now he ups that to P4. And Noir with only 6th. She and Uni went into this race as the points leaders. Uni really fell off hard here with only 11th place. And the rear-wheel drive cars struggled here even worse than they did at Fisherman's Ranch, probably due to the fact that they could not handle those bumps on the back half of the track. I assume they probably found that little tire barrier on the left more than once. It's only a guess, but it's an educated one because I've been in there myself in my GTO at least once. And the third race of the episode is away. Midway point of the championship brings us to the Barcelona Rallycross layout. 4 wide near the back is the Colin Morris, our onboard driver, decides to really use that whole shot he just got to his fullest advantage. I suppose a Rallycross driver would know how to get an effective start in close quarters. Sneaks maybe ahead of McIntosh, not quite. I think more here than anywhere else, those rear-wheel drive cars are going to have a really unpleasant time, as they will struggle to ever pick up traction on corners. But Colin Morris's car is pretty much built for this, so I have a sneaking suspicion that he won't have such a problem in this focus. Logan is plummeting down the order as he's just put Alzamon into the wall. That's one way to make a position, I guess. And he's nearly losing control, puts Colin Morris into the wall for good measure. but I'm pretty sure Colin's seen this before. Yet Logan just completely makes a fool of himself on braking, and Colin Morris returns the favor, showing him just a lane off the track and carrying on. Logan loses control, and even though Alzaman is not the type to move somebody out of the way for a position, he's also not the type to just sit there and wait for somebody to recover their vehicle. If they're out of control, he's not going to just wait up for it. By the looks of things, I think Logan spent more of this race trying to get the vehicle under control than actually controlling it. Meanwhile, Colin Morris is already up into third. I guess he's been there for a minute now, but that's beside the point. Alzaman is not letting go of the pursuit, though. He's still right there in Colin's mirrors. And Futaba has a pretty decent lead. She's coming off of some momentum from her previous win at Colorado. My fan makes even more noise. Uni is attempting to make up for her pitiful result in the aforementioned Colorado Springs round. Running second, both her and Futaba are pretty well clear of everybody else, but Colin Morris is approaching quickly whenever he can get that corner down. I don't know how long the Barcelona Rallycross circuits existed for. This may not be a track that he actually has done much with. It may not ever come up in the Rallycross Championship Heat. You know, the one he raced for 10 seasons and won 6 championships. Mostly driving Ford Focus, if not almost exclusively that. As you can just see the parade of cars on the opposite side of the racetrack back there. Looks like Colin just about got it turned in for that turn this time. Takes a delay the apex at the one part of the track that's like the little chicane that's the GP layout that we don't use very often anymore. Colin is right up to the back of Uni's vehicle now. It won't be long before I feel he will probably make the pass. Although he tried an interesting lane there, and that, perhaps as anticipated, didn't quite pan out. Wide approach to the hairpin. Takes a bit of the AstroTurf to get alongside the Subaru, but gets the move done, and off he carries. He carries on. Wayward Son, something or other, I don't know. Alzaman closed in during the time that these two were battling, and Uni's starting to push the car, I think, based on the way that it tried to escape her in that braking zone. Oh yeah, Colin's figured out the secret formula there. You gotta turn in before you even reach the turn. Because you can't turn in while they're in the air. Sit here and watch one of the series' car control naturals just go about his business, pretty much. He has closed the distance between him and Futaba pretty rapidly. Oh, that's a lot of drifting action there. But he shouldn't have many problems holding it, and indeed he doesn't have any problem hanging on to that. Just a bit of a show for the fans as he closes in on his targets. That big blue truck up there. Not going to be easy to overtake though. It's got a lot of acceleration for being as big as it is, thanks in no small part to its GT500 engine. But it's not like everything in this category doesn't have pretty good launch power with shorter rally rear ratios. Actually, columns are kind of long for a rallycross car, probably because it's sort of an all-purpose car that also does rally tracks rather than rallycross tracks. But normally first gear is not going to be that long. I think sometimes his muscle memory kicks in and he really short shifts probably before the rev band is over. You can just see in the telemetry, like we saw out of that corner there, he shifted out of first way early. Too wide with Futaba for the race lead, and he just about gets there, but loses control on exit. Almost uncharacteristic. It's a huge door slam in on the Tundra. And she nearly puts it into the wall in reaction. Colin Morris is definitely known to be more of an aggressive driver, much to the chagrin of his rallycross opponents in the days of old. But now that he's in the lead, he's been rather unleashed. And Tyler, oh boy, he's been rather leashed. He's in danger of being lapped here. If there were another lap on the counter, I feel like it would probably actually happen. Not an incredible look for Urban Estate, but I also figure that this probably isn't their main focus anyway. This is probably something that Tyler entered for the express purpose of having an excuse to drive a fake General Lee. On an off-road circuit, Riho tries to return the favor, but it's Colin that gets the exit momentum. That camera has not helped us see this whatsoever. Riho came from quite a ways back, gets into the Focus's door, but because he parked the bus on the apex, Riho couldn't manage any speed coming off of it. Uni will barely manage third over Alzaman, and Yo will come in fifth. Another consistent top 7 finish for Watanabe. She's not had any standout performances thus far, but especially in the light of Rantanen's first pretty weak race down here in 11th. It seems like it's going to be between her and Riho for this one thus far, and the points calculations coming up to this point certainly stand to prove that. If I can find the sheet that those are left for me on. Yeah, at this point it is 47 Futaba, Watanabe 51. And Uni is in the same boat. She has 48 at this point, Noir with 49. But this is Yo's worst finish, and it's still a solid 5th place. So, she hasn't done spectacularly yet, but she's done everything that she has to do so far, even though she has no win. It's not unheard of to win a championship with no victories. The 4th race of the Special Conditions Cup is green at 9. Sardinia Windmills makes its first appearance as the reverse layout, as we end off the Special Conditions Cup with a double header. Reverse layout in the late evening, and we'll run the forwards layout tomorrow morning. The camera car, Noir, has had the race start of a lifetime, already up to 5th place after just 4 turns. And looking for more on Watanabe, and more she will have. The new dirt spec Hawker Flyby Impreza truly is working pretty well, as she's putting it in championship contention. And that's something that not even our resident Subaru fan Tetsuya Harada can say at the moment, as he had a real stinker at Fisherman's Ranch that has kept him out of championship contention. But that doesn't mean he can't win a race or two. You got a battle of the Subarus. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Subies. They're in ascending order too. The 98 Subaru at the front, followed by an 04, and then this is a 2016 model, Impreza at the back. And then the Evos and the truck, as the truck actually gets down the inside of Rantanen and will actually interrupt the thing I was just saying. Gosh darn it, Kingsley, how dare you? Noir has a run on her own sister. We saw these two briefly battle at the Fisherman's Ranch, which just turned into Uni driving off into the sunset, while her sister played solid defense. This time, Noir will take second and lead her sister in the battle against one Tetsuya Harada, who the ultimate Subaru is. Somewhere, there's a certain Finnish Mitsubishi fan that's not Sim Rantanen who's probably punching the air right now. Noir's a little earlier on the brakes here. He doesn't quite know where to brake for this, but Harada just seems to have that instinct that tells him exactly where the Subaru can brake. But it hardly seems to matter. He is better in literally every other corner. Especially this one, by the looks of it, as she's pretty much riding his exhaust. Heading up the hill here. Almost gets alongside, almost looks like she's about to turn him there, but no, she was never alongside him actually. It just kind of looked like it from perspective. Oh, but so much stronger in that last right-hander. They bang doors heading onto the front straightaway, and Noir has to try and recover the car. Harada still has a chance to clap back if he slips up here, but that's a really strong turn one. Heading into the now downhill section. It looks like triple hairpin, but it's not really a hairpin at the last turn. That's just 90 degrees. And then just kind of, I don't know. I don't know if I call that a hairpin. That's just a sweeper. Just spit everywhere. Dakota Kingsley moves to third place ahead of me, having overtaken many others along the way. He's having quite a race here. Oh my word, quite a jump here as well, as Harada almost gets back to the inside of Noir with light braking at that hairpin. But now comes the part of the track where Noir is at her very fastest, the third sector. And Tetsuya just doesn't have much in the tank for her through here. And in fact, it might be Kingsley that has something in the tank for him, if Tetsuya ain't careful. Kind of like an old style onboard rally onboard camera here. Right on board with Tetsuya to see if he has anything to offer that 04 Impreza up there, but looking in the mirror, I think he's got a bigger problem. Quite literally bigger problem in the form of Dakota Kingsley. Man, how can you even see what those in your mirror? He's got like 12 headlights. I was actually kidding. He's not far off. But I think that's 6, 8 on the bottom. 1, 2, 4, 5, yeah. He has more than 12. He has 13 headlights. How badly do you need to see Dakota? Holy crap. Tetsuya, oh my word. Oh, yep, there's the contact that I mentioned you get after the Special Conditions Cup. And Kingsley knows how to sling it, and he can send it up and run if he thinks he has to. Every position matters, even though it doesn't quite matter to him, as he's not really in title contention at the moment. That's mostly down to Yo versus the Subarus. And the Subarus, I mean Uni and Noir, and then Futaba, who's in fifth. She's gaining points on her here, as is about everybody else that's like relevant in that battle, because Yoda's in 9th place at the moment. Not excellent. Now Damien's really missed that turn, my word. Pretty much a Congo line. Uni is now playing as many people as possible behind her. She couldn't keep Dakota at bay, but Tetsuya is doing that just as well, though he now gets down the inside of the consecutive slow corners. And now Noir gets to have a spider of headlights in her rear view, but he ain't that close at the moment. A bit of a mid-corner adjustment there. He turned in too early, forgot there was a late apex turn by the looks of it. She's getting steadily, progressively more aggressive under braking there. But It's still not as late as Dakota just did. Meanwhile, in the background, we saw headlights from Mimi's car as she was basically just taking the most unorthodox route possible. That Subaru very wide. And I mean, it's working. The Tundra has not found a way by. And in context of not finding a way by, Dakota won't find one either. Not when Noir's hit that last turn. A bit sideways out of it, but she will cross the line first. Make it 2 wins in this championship for NFR for the duo as sisters. Kingsley second, Harada third, Uni fourth, and this 9th place finish isn't going to help Watanabe in the championship. She might be in a fair bit of danger against Futaba, Noir, and Uni now after that one. As I kind of briefly bring the thing back up. 65 to Uni, 69 to Noir, 63 to Yo, and where the heck is Futaba on here? Oh, I'm blind. 63 to her. So she must beat Noir by 7 positions. She must finish ahead of Riho, and she must finish ahead of Uni by, I think, what was that, 2 places? Well, 2 to tie, 3 to actually beat her. So, yeah, simple logistics. If Yo beats Riho, finishes 6 places ahead of Noir and 3 places ahead of Sarah, Uni, then the championship is hers. And that will be tomorrow morning of the final round here in the Special Conditions Cup, and another quick look over at the computations, I believe Cam calls them when he does points for his own stuff. Or, basically just the overs and unders of it, the odds, I guess. So the main ones to watch out for in this race will definitely be Noir, Muni, Riho, Yo, and Dakota Kingsley is a dark horse at 62 points as well. As he's finished 10th or higher in every race. Riho did not finish 10th in the top 10 in the first race, but she's definitely made up for it ever since. With pretty much perfection ever since first, second, and 5th following that tactical blunder. But yeah. So Yo, basically Noir is at 69, Uni at 65, Riho at 63, tied with Yo, and Dakota Kingsley has 62. So for Noir to win the championship, all that she needs is 16 points. So she gets a top 5, and it doesn't matter what her sister Uni does, championship is hers. And nobody else can touch 85 points from here. So all Noir needs is 5th. Although, actually, no, because if she got 5th, Uni could get 85, and then they would tie. And they wouldn't be able to break up the tie on victories because they both have a win. So, yeah. 4th. Noir needs 4th to win the championship. 5th tie. And I suppose if she were a joint champion with her sister, that would pretty much be best case scenario for those two. But assuming Noir cannot do that, for other people to succeed, if she does not score 17 points, Dakota Kingsley can win and still get the championship over her. And if she doesn't get 18 points, which is 3rd, mind you, I mean math here. That's not math, me. No, if Noir can't manage 12 points, which is 9th place, Dakota can win the race and the championship. If she can't manage 8th place, Riho and Yo can win the race and the championship. For Uni to win the championship, simple answer, just finish with Riho, Yo, and Dakota. The main thing to look at, too, is Yo and Riho have had the highest average finishes thus far, pretty much, other than Noir. I mean, this is calculated pretty much exclusively off average finish, but they've been the fastest cars in most of the races. With Futaba having a first and second place back-to-back. Yo with no wins, but a lowest finish of 9th. The main problem with that is Riho starts here, Yo starts in last. So she's got a bit of an uphill climb as we get the actual race going. She's also the POV car, so that's why I'm paying extra attention to how she can win the championship. And that's a good start. There's no one on this team. But that's a good start. She's already into the top half of the field, just about. I'm sure she remembers the last time she raced here. She won on this direction. Combined with a miracle save that Kumar sent the whole paddock into hysterics when she saved the car pretty much at a 90-degree angle coming off of the jump. Word of what Yo's accomplished as a racer in just about a few months has spread like a fire. Sorry, Canadians, no offense. An extra lap tacked on to this one for a 6-lap finale, which will probably run us about 9 minutes. She's already almost looking at the top 3, Colin Morris, the obstacle to that achievement, and she'll probably get the better exit here, as she is able to arc it out, find a real corner, and even get second over Thrasher for good measure. So now comes the final confrontation, as right now, Futaba is the net points leader, 1 over Yo, and 2 over Uni. And Noir is in 9th, which also means that she is 2 points. She's tied with Uni, also 2 points behind Yo next. So, and Kingsley's right there in the mix, but he needs to be ahead of Riho to have any chance. And not running P7. Sorry, P6, it's just past Kylo on the top. That's a pretty critical move though, if he slips that on a Uni, he's just done. But keep staticking up on me, or that's the controller, it could be either one. Lord knows technology hates me. Arcs it in late, misses the apex a little bit though, but doesn't really matter too much in that corner. All things considered, there's an apex on this track to miss that one. Huge exit from the last left-hander. That puts Yo into the lead and puts her in the championship lead at 83 points. Riho just makes a that was probably, frankly, terrifying, Yogi. Yo just jumped over the hood of Yo's car to take the lead back. Well, okay then. These two are just full of surprises, especially here at Sardinia. Yo didn't seem terribly fazed by it though. She's staying close to the Tundra. Might sneak around the outside. Guess what? Now that's the inside. Smooth as silk. Can she have escaped the crossover? Just about. Yo Yo takes the lead back, takes points lead back. Kingsley is on the come-up, but has to finish ahead of both of them to have a chance at the championship. And right now, the good old Rally Stally is finally making something of an appearance as it understeers into the wall. Yo's not out of the woods yet, though. Riho's not done. Obviously, this is for the championship right here, so she's not just gonna sit down and take the L. I don't know why anybody would. She's gonna dive it into the hairpin, but Yo's able to just sling it throughout, just about effortlessly. I know she pretty much had her Evo set up for this track, so it doesn't surprise me that she's giving it everything that she has. She's kind of put all of her chips down on the final race, but considering that the other four didn't go too badly, all things considered, it seems like it might have been the right bet. Uni continues to fall down the order, having just been passed by Tetsuya. Noir still remains 9th as well. That only gives her a grand total of 81 points. That's nowhere near enough. And at the moment, this is 79 points for Uni, 80 for Dakota, 82 for Riho, 83 for Yo. But Riho's still right there on her taillights. This is going to pretty much come right down to the stripes, I would think. I just noticed there's an extra space in Thrasher's name on the leaderboard. He's trying everything he can to keep those cars behind him. The rear-wheel drive cars have not had a great time in the special conditions stuff, so for any of them to even get in the top 8 in one of these races would kind of be a bit of a diamond in the rough for those three. Meanwhile, Tyler is running 8th and is keeping Noir right at bay. And Logan is in last by a rough margin. He was one of the most excited guys to run this, so clearly something did not go the way that he wrote it out on the drawing board earlier, if he even has a drawing board. Something tells me he doesn't seem like the type to just plan things, he just kind of says, fuck it. And I'm fairly certain Logan will probably confirm that in the comments later. Yo doesn't have much of a lead, but the lead she does have, she's managing pretty well. It's not like the other Watanabe, Rio, that nobody likes. No, people like these two. These are two of the more popular drivers on the grid because they're both kind of the underdogs. So Rio is just some funny fashion model that's just here to make, please the fans, and does so by driving the most bizarre vehicles on the whole grid. And Yo is just somebody who just came out of nowhere, racing literally as a distraction because she just needs someone to get her mind off of her old friends. And she's just kind of fucked around and pretty much slayed the kings of the Challenge Series as far as actual transferable racing talent goes. Fits in post. Her mom doesn't want this race to be recorded, clearly. She's gone in and out of the room 6 times in 3 minutes. So I'm just going to record the final lap in one lump sum and edit things around because I can do that. Even runs a personal best sector there, pushing to stay ahead of that truck into probably her worst corner on the track, and Futaba's not even nearby to challenge her through it. I want to talk about making something out of nothing. Just some random girl from a small town south of Fuji grabs herself an Evo 10 second hand and takes it to some of the best drivers in the world. Yo Watanabe has won the Special Conditions Cup by a matter of seconds. 1 point over second place finisher Riho Futaba. If the order had been switched around, we'd be congratulating a completely different driver right now. But Yo did exactly what she has to do, and even though Uni salvages 6th place, that's only 80 points. Noir couldn't even manage 9th. She lost that to Elzaman at the last gasp. So she only manages 79 points. The person that went into this race with the most points between those 5 ends up with the least. Dakota Kingsley with 80. He ends up 4th in points. And it will be Yo Watanabe as your champion. 83 to 82. And then actually it's 380s. I missed math. My brain's like, oh, 10th is 10. No, 10th is 11. You counted down before from 20. But yeah, so Yo wins the championship at 83. Futaba at 82. Uni, Noir, and Dakota all tie at 80. But, Uni and Noir tie for 3rd. Dakota would technically be 5th by way of he doesn't have a victory in the championship. Whereas the other 2 did have a victory in this championship. And then it's Colin Morris at 73, Saeed Al-Zaman at 70, Tetsuya Harada at 66, Damien Kotexa 65, Rantanen at 59, my dad at 57, Thrasher at 49, Kazuma Hanamura at 43, Logan Cool ties with Melissa Weiss for 2nd from last at 39, and Tyler McIntosh has had a championship to forget with a mere 36 points, a singular top 10 to his name. That said, Kazuma didn't even have a top 10. His best finish was 11th, but he finished a sequence of 11th, 13th, 14th, 10th, 10th, or 12th, 12th. So he was consistently mediocre, whereas Tyler had multiple last place finishes and then 2 good finishes. But, I mean, clearly, as the Dirt Spec is now an evenly matched series with everybody on the same playing field, just like the other 5 classes, the rear-wheel drive cars are going to take an L. And the fact that Thrasher managed 4th place here at the final round is in itself a small miracle. Pretty much. He just made the world's widest Ford Mustang, and Colin Morris and the 222Bs and following behind him just didn't seem to know what to do. But that will conclude the Special Conditions Cup. Just wait until Yo finds out who sponsored the damn thing.